Thank you, Gerfried. Thank you very much, first of all. And we are with Gerfried Stocker. The 40th edition of Ars Electronica Festival is taking care also about how to be disruptive, creative in a world that is seeing us merely as a consumer. How can we gain a different perspective in the digital world? How can we do it?
Well, I mean, from this point of view and this perspective, I would say just listen to the artists. Because I think what we see in these last 40 years, and it was really a super experience when we were starting to go into our archives and developing this exhibition Ars in the City and Ars on the Wire, we see so many examples where 10, 15 years ahead of the time, artists were already understanding in which way this technology is creating an impact and a change to our society. And many of the troubles that we have today, we can see and understand already in these early projects from the 80s. So if society just would have listened to artists, I think we would have saved a lot of troubles for us.
Your festival has been deeply investigating the relation and the confrontation between humans and the machine. Which is the current state of the art of this relationship? Who's the one that seems growing, developing faster?
Well, I think it's hard to say the current status, because as always art is so diverse. There are so many different frontiers also. We see a huge development at the moment of media art also invading or at least getting into the art market. We have big art collections that are starting to collect also media art, contemporary, but also media art like from 10, 15, 20 years ago already. We see a huge, also almost explosion in the number of universities who have really very comprehensive training and education programs for media art, for art and technology in all the diverse areas. Completely new, very fantasy, full of fantasy. There are new university courses coming up, like for creative robotic or fashion and technology. So it's a very interesting mixture of different trends. We see another frontier where we see an increasing interest also from the businesses and the corporations to tap into this resource of creativity from the artists, to exploit it and transfer it also for their things. And of course we see, as always, a very big, and I think really throughout the history of humans, artists always have been the ones who look behind the curtain, who are the first ones to invest energy, effort and time into better understanding how this technology is actually asserting its transformative powers onto our society. So the frontiers of arts are manifold, and I think that's really the wonderful thing. Media art, after so many decades now, still is a very dynamic and area that is constantly transforming on its own and transforming itself as well.
The digital revolution is going on. Somehow it's mature. Which are the most important questions that this revolution is proposing to us now?
Well, first of all, I think there is a very big debate whether the digital revolution is already mature or not. We easily could also say what we're witnessing right now is not like the midlife crisis, it's more like the first sickness of a little baby or something like this. Because of course we are very impressed with what has been going on in recent years. I mean, the usual thing to compare is like 2007 only the iPhone comes to the market, and this is also the technology had been there for so long already, but only when it really started to be distributed to billions of people and when it started to be used by billions of people, then it really became a revolution. So the revolution is just 10, 12 years old maximum, and still we see every development has this exponential curve ahead of us. So maybe it's not mature at all, and definitely society in using this technology is not mature at all. I mean, we are really like the little kids, they see the bowl of ice cream and then we eat as much as we can, and afterwards only we recognize that maybe this wasn't the best idea. And I think this is actually what we are facing, and this is what one of the things I think the next decades will be mainly concerned is, how can we not reverse, but how can we make a next step of development that is undoing the problems that we created by being, too unreflected in going. But while we are still coping with the development of the last 10, 20 years, of course we witness the next very big thing ahead of us that comes with machine learning and artificial intelligence. And it's not that we have to be afraid of Terminator machines that are conquering the world or something like this. But the big change is that we are going from automatization to autonomization of technology. And the pure fact that we don't need an intelligent machine, it doesn't have to have conscious or all these fancy things, just the way that machine learning is working already right now is enough to establish autonomy for digital systems. And this is, of course, going far beyond everything we have been doing with technology in the whole history of mankind. And I think this is really a challenge that needs all of us, the whole society, to really put our focus and on our attention onto.
In the fight between digital world as a democratic tool, as a possible awareness as a responsibility tool, and the vision of it as a fighter of democracy, who's the current winner?
Well, at the moment, I think it's not democracy that is winning, at least not the democracy that probably we would see it, but then again, what we have to accept is that also democracy is a concept that can be seen in quite different ways by different people, by different cultures. We see that usually right-wing populists actually were the first ones who really understood how to exploit and utilize this media. I mean, Italy with Salvini is a very good/bad example, but I mean, I use it often as an example. He very early understood that it's more powerful to make some selfies with your fans than to spend your time with making an interview with a journalist. And this is such a strong example of this, I would say, perversion of democracy and public opinion. But then again, when we leave away the ideological basis of this, we have to say this is the new type of democracy. And democracy always is, of course, at the end, a process of fighting, negotiating, and coming to compromises. So the important thing is that we really work hard to balance this. At the moment, we have the wrong people being the ones who really understand how to use this. I mean, Trump is the best example. He was really he became powerful because he understood the new mechanism of this. But we see a young generation also. I mean, this wonderful example here in Germany with Rezo, who made this video, YouTuber with the blue hair, making, a really engaging 1 hour video, and everybody is blown away, and the old parties and also the newspapers just what should we do with it? So the good thing is it's not only the right-wing populists. I mean, there are many other people who understand it, and that's why I'm actually quite optimistic that we, at the end, will find a new way, a new social compromise. And it's democracy, it's the whole question of the value of labor. I mean, what we are doing with this technical development is not just replacing one or another job. We are basically making the whole concept of labor evaporating. How should we deal with it? There is no philosophy out there, there is no economy out there that is really prepared to deal with it, and I think that's, of course, big challenges ahead of us, but I'm always optimistic, because pessimism never has saved the world at all.
One of the key questions now seems to be, who is really guiding the digital revolution? Who or what is writing the agenda for the priorities in these developments?
Well, also here I think we see good changes, because for quite a while we could say, well, they write their own agenda. I mean, especially the US-American monopolies, it really was like in the Wild West. Who who's faster to pull the gun was winning, and it was like the winner takes it all. Everything is possible thing. But now we see, and I think that's a very good thing with Europe, the European Union, the Commission really has been a brave, so to say, forerunner in starting these discussions about regaining the standards of humanity and society in the digital space as well. But we see this is now also swapping quite strongly to the US as well. I mean, we have seen last year Mr. Zuckerberg had to appear in front of the Congress. We have seen this year 5 billion fine for the Cambridge Analytica scandal. So there is a very strong, actually, also data protection law already issued in California. We have San Francisco banning the police from using face recognition tools. So this is, I think, the civil society is gaining momentum, is understanding, is getting out of the box, and I think at the end it's still not enough. I mean, there is still, I'm always over-optimistic, so every little thing I see, finally we have, but nevertheless I think there is good reason for hope. And also again, when we see these thousands of people who are presenting their ideas and their creative approaches, their critical approaches here on this festival, I think we have good reason. We have to join forces, and then we can solve the problems. I think that's really possible.
Ars Electronica is always dealing with the future. Which will be the future of Ars Electronica then?
Well, I think in the long term, like, when you have birthday, you can make a birthday wish. My birthday wish for Ars Electronica would be to stay as relevant as it always has been. The technologies will change, the problems the technology will bring to us will change, but something that will never change is it's all about the human. And we need always, so to say, compensation for the presence of commercial interests. And I think art and culture is the place where this counterbalance starts from. And I think this is, in all these 40 years, even long before I was involved here, what Ars Electronica always has achieved is to be, so to say, a platform for those people who are fighting for the balance. And this is what we hope we can remain. I think we have been witnessing in the last 5 years a tremendous increase of attention. Digitization, our topic, is the big topic now in so many areas. I think so far we have managed quite well to so to say establish a good basis and foundation for this, so that I'm pretty sure that even in the coming years we will be able to provide a platform for people who work in these areas from all over the world.
So, good luck and thank you for your work. Thanks a lot, Gerfried.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming.